And a very warm welcome to Southend this afternoon. We'll be flying from Southend Echo Golf Mike Charlie to Innsbruck, Lima Oscar Whiskey India in the PMDG 737-600. The weather at Southend is a little cloudy and quite brisk southwesterly breeze, and it's at Innsbruck a very light variable wind, so we're hoping for the RNAV into runway 26. I filed for flight level 370. We'll see what ATC gives us. As usual, we'll start with a little bit of flight planning. So here's Navigraph charts, and we've got Southend up here and the TULSI star and the RNAV Zulu from Rattenberg NDB into Innsbruck itself, and we'll brief that more fully en route. And when we look at Southend, there is actually a departure for Southend, the Dover departure, and that is essentially 2.5 in the DME from India November Delta or India Sierra Oscar, and then a left turn to Detling, and then further left turn to Dover. And again, we'll see what ATC gives us. Often they just give us a sort of climb 1,000 feet, then on track, something like that. We'll see. So, without further ado, let's get into the aircraft and get it sorted out. We've got 93 passengers expected for today's flight. They'll be boarding in about 5 minutes from now. While we wait for the APU to fire up, which I'll just get going now. I'll just get some panel lighting sorted out, because it is fairly dark out there. You never know when you're going to climb into a darker cloud, so best be prepared, I guess. Okay, so we've got the APU firing up. We'll get our barometric pressure set to hectopascals or millibars, and we'll just load up the aircraft. We'll go to the FMC FS Actions fuel, and Simbrief was giving us 5,800 kilos for today's flight, but I'm going to load 6,000. I think that's a safe number. And then we've got a zero fuel weight today of 57.5 tons, so that can go into right 2 there. Nope, we'll try that again, shall we? 57.5 into right 2. Ah, sorry, 47.5. Let's try 47.5. Whee, that worked better, didn't it? Okay, let's start again then, shall we? All right, back to menu, then FMC, and the the APU generators are online, so we can get them started. And it takes about 25 minutes sometimes in the 737 to get the heated windscreen windows on, and all we need to do now is put the APU bleed on. And because we filed 370, we'll just put 37 into the altitude pressurization window, and Innsbruck is 1900 feet up, so we'll put 1900 into the landing altitude. Check that the fasten seatbelt signs are on, because we finished refueling, and everything else is good up top. So with that in mind, pause in it, we don't need to do, because we're in the turnaround state. So we go to route, and then we enter in the ICAOs, Echo Golf Mike Charlie, Lima Oscar Whiskey India. That goes into left 2. We'll activate and execute. We'll also put our flight number. We're EasyJet EZ995 today. That goes into right 2. And for our departure, I've already added Detling and Dover into the route, so all we need to do is select the runway, which is 23 at Southend, press execute, then back to the departure arrival index, LOWI. We'll select the RNAV Zulu, transition Rattenberg, and then it's the TULSI 3 Alpha star. Okay, so we'll insert those, go to the legs page, and what we'll do now, you'll see that it's expecting us to be at TULSI at 9,500 feet or above. So what I want to do is to tell it to be at Rattenberg, which is about 17 miles from TULSI, at 9,500 on the dot. Not 9,500 or above, but 9,500 on the dot. Okay, because I want my airplane to be all set up, slow, with flaps ready for the descent, which just is 5.7 miles after Rattenberg. So it gives me ample time to slow the aircraft down. Right, so we've done the route, the legs. We need to do the in at ref. We hit left 3 here for the 0 fuel weight. Reserves, I had a look earlier, they're 0.9. And the cost index is 55. Put 55 in there. Okay, we filed flight levels 370. And passengers just started boarding. So 370, we'll see what they give us. And then we've got 6,000 for the transition altitude. Press execute, and then we go to the limit page, and as usual I've got Utopia, which is age-old utility. It's free, so that's all that counts for me. Echo Golf Mike Charlie, runway 24. We hit this button to get the weather. Current QNH is 1018. Our takeoff weight is 53,450. 53,450. Okay, and press calculate, and we've got a assumed temperature of 70, flap 5, and full thrust 22,000 pounds. Okay, so 70 on the assumed temperature, climbing at climb 1, takeoff flap 5, hit CFG twice, gives us a trim of 4.85. Just move the trim wheel now and set that. So that looks to be good about there. And then we do right 1 for V1, right 2 for rotate, right 3 for V2. So 127 plus 10 gives us 137. That's what I'm going to put into the MCP. Put the flight directors on, and next I'm going to get the runway QDM. Runway 23 has got a QDM of 233, so I'll just dial that in now, and then we need to have a listen to the ATIS to see what's going on with the weather. 233 I said, so 233. Okay, so let's have a listen to the weather.
Southend information, Quebec, 1520 Zulu, winds are 219 at 12 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 3,000 few clouds. 3,800 broken. Temperature 13, dew point 9. Current QNH is 1018. Arriving and departing runway 23. Southend information, Quebec, 1520.
Okay, so we've got the weather. So we are on 23. Got the QNH set 1018. I'm going to call up now for clearance. Before I do that, I'm just going to put the co-pilot's MCDU into the progress page. That gives us a lot of vital information such as times, fuel, top of climb, top of descent. So that's worth putting on the second FMC. So let's have a listen to our AT. Oh, happily, the self-loading cargo has finished loading, and while they're getting settled in, I'm just going to call up
Niner 5 ready to copy IFR clearance.
The tower for clearance.
Easy 995 is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey India as filed. Expect departure runway 23. Climb and maintain flight level 060. Expect higher clearances 3 minutes after departure. Radar director on 128.905. Squawk 5105.
Easy 9er is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey India as filed. Climb and maintain flight level 060. Expect higher clearances 3 minutes after departure. Radar director on 128.905. Squawk 5105.
Easy 9er rear back correct. QNH is 1018, let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1018 Easy 9er
Okay, so we've got the squawk, we've got our initial altitude 6,000. Just gonna, I put my parking brake on, just gonna get ground services, remove the wheel chocks, because in so doing, they will close the door, they'll roll the steps away, they'll close the cargo hatches as you can see, and they'll move the baggage carts, belt loaders out of the way. So there we go, so we're all standalone. Get back into the cockpit, we can go back to the legs page, and before we call up for our pushback clearance, we're just going to pre-plan the pushback, and we'll be pointing nose to the north. There we go, press enter, and we're talking to the tower, so it's just a question of calling up for pushback.
Easy 9er ready for pushback and engine start.
Easy 9er pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Easy 9er 5.
So we've got the pushback truck now just positioning itself. While that's happening, we're going to energize the hydraulics. We're going to put our probes on. We're going to switch off the left bleed pack. We're going to put our fuel pumps to on, and we're going to set our beacon to on as well.
Parking brakes are set.
If the air supply fails, mass will drop from above. Pull a mass towards you to start the oxygen.
Okay.
Mass go over your nose and mouth. Hold in place
We're
with the
clear for
strap.
start and push.
Pull on each side to adjust.
Clear for push start.
Put on your own mask before helping others.
Right, parking brake coming off.
If you land on
Parking
board,
brakes are
take the life jacket from under your seat. Put it over your head.
Right, so we'll start number 2 first. So we've got the left pack is off, so we can just put engine number 2 starter to ground. Start valve is open, N2 is winding up. Oil pressure is beginning to register. We're looking for 24 and N2, currently 15, so I'm just going to position my screen so I can see the N2 as well as the start lever. 24 we have, fuel's coming on, and N2 is winding up, and now we've got fuel flow, we've got light up, EGT is rising, and the big fan is turning. Oil pressure, oil temperature both on the up. So good start on 2, starter valve still open, that won't shut now until it gets to 18 on the N1 or thereabouts. There we go. And now we can start number 1 in the same way. So that goes to ground, and then we go and monitor what's happening down here. So N2 picking up, starter valve is open, oil pressure is registering. Right. Parking brake's coming on. Zooming out so I can see M1 and the start lever. Looking for 24, 22 we have, 23, 24. Fuel's coming on. So we've got fuel flow. EGT is rising, big fan is turning, pressure and temperature are on the increase, and now the starter valve is still open, the ignition but off for both, and just wait for the start valve to close. Our pushback is truck is driving away, so we're just going to close that down, and we'll wait for the starter valve to close. There it is. So now we can get the engine generators online. Okay, we can switch off the APU. We can switch off the APU bleed, ionization valve to auto, left pack to auto. So we're all good there. Just do a quick scan of the overhead. That's all looking good. We're going to put ignition onto continuous. We're going to give it flaps 5 and set the auto brake to anti-skid. And that should be enough to get us taxiing. So we'll put taxi request.
EZ995 ready to taxi.
EZ995 taxi to runway 23 via taxiways Alpha, hold short runway 23.
Taxi to runway 23 via taxiways Alpha, hold short runway 23 EZ995.
Okay, so get the taxi lights on, so turn off and taxi can come on. And parking brakes off. And just give it a bit of power. And because we're taxiing now on an airport, we can go to Tara on the transponder and bring the throttles back to idle to taxi on idle power. So you'll remember that on a 737, the takeoff config warning is when you bring the throttles up to halfway or more. We're clear on the left here, we're clear on the right, just to continue our taxi. When we get to this straight segment just here to our right, I'm going to blip the throttles up and listen out for a configuration warning, and I shouldn't hear anything. So here we go, blipping them up. Yep, nothing. So they're all nice and quiet. That means the takeoff config is correct. And just come to a stop before the hold, which is here. Slight uphill gradient here.
EZ995 cleared to cross runway 23.
Cleared to cross runway 23 EZ995.
EZ995 advise when ready for departure.
Wilco EZ995.
Okay, that's a message to clear cross 23. It's a bit spurious. Pilot 280C is MSFS compliant, except that it does have trouble with the layouts of the runways. The developer is working on it, but it's still undoubtedly the best ATC program there is. Right, so we're ready for takeoff. I'm going to let them know that. We've done our takeoff config. The cabin is secure.
Tower EZ995 ready for departure runway 23.
EZ995 winds are 219 at 12 knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 23 maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet, then proceed on course.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 23 maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet, then proceed on course. EZ995.
Okay, so I put the landing lights on, I put the strobe light on. We've given the clearance, we've just been given our takeoff clearance, which is runway heading.
Approaching 23.
Which is runway heading to 1,000 feet, then left turn on track. So when we put the toga, when we switch toga on now, the flight directors will be providing us guidance on the runway heading. Because I'm going to hit heading hold now. When I've just completed this turn. If I get to complete this turn, goodness me, it's a bit of a uphill struggle
on runway
here.
23.
Okay.
5,200 feet available.
And we'll just come to a stop here. Want as much runway in front of us as possible. Okay. So, heading hold can come on. We're going to climb out on 137. So the flight directors will give us guidance for heading and V2. And at 1,000 feet, I'm going to hit LNAV, and flight director will then direct us to Detling, which is off to our 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. Right, so auto throttle coming on, elapsed timer coming on, positioning my view so I can see engine instruments and everything that I need. Right, so throttling up, let the engine stabilise 40 to 50%, which they have. Pressing the toga button now. Okay. Keep the centre line. We've got
on runway
takeoff thrust
3.
set.
On runway
Speed
2,
is
3.
live. 80 knots. Rotate. And there we go. So bring it round. Okay, so we're going to pitch to the command bars. Gear coming up, positive rate. Okay. And we're going to keep this until 1,000 feet. Just looking at those command bars there. Okay, and we're just approaching 1,000 feet shortly. Whoa, come on. There we go. And I'm going to hit LNAV, and we're going to come around to the left to follow the guidance. There we go.
Easy 995, climb to flight level 150, contact South End radar director on 128.95. Have a good afternoon.
Climb to flight level 150, radar director on 128.95, easy 995.
I'm going to put the autopilot on now, let that take the strain. So autopilot's coming on.
Radar director easy
We're gonna
995,
pitch
climbing
for
to flight level
210 on the
150.
speed.
Easy
Whoops, bit too
995,
much.
good afternoon. Radar
210 on the
contact.
speed, and we're going to clean up the aircraft. Okay. So, flap, speed check coming up. Now we can do flap 1. And flaps and slats. Retracted, speed checked. Up they come. Okay. So now we're stable. We can put VNAV on, that will accelerate us to 250 knots, or 230 knots it looks like. No, 250, I was right, there we go. And we'll switch off the landing lights, sorry, the taxi lights, switch off our landing gear. And we're all
Easy
good, so
995, contact London
looks like we're going to
Control on
avoid going into cloud, which
118.47.
is good.
Have a nice day.
Center on 118.47, take care, easy 995.
Switch off the auto brake. So we've done our after takeoff checklist. And the next event will be 10,000. Now, we've got 15,000 dialed in for
Center easy
150.
995, climbing to flight level 150.
The standard pressure at 6,000.
Easy 995, good afternoon.
Okay, so the banana here is showing us where we're going to get to flight level 150. And I don't want the aircraft to accelerate outside of this magenta line. So I'm going to just momentarily take control of the speed by pressing the speed intervention button. We're going to stay at 250 knots until we get past Detling. Okay, just because we can, because it's control, because if the aircraft accelerates, it might not be able to track this magenta line, the route that we got. So we'll stay at 250 knots for a little bit, and we're just passing flight level 100.
Please keep your seatbelt
So
fastened while the
landing
seatbelt
lights can
sign
come
is
off.
on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets
Continuous
are located
ignition
at each
can come
end of
off.
the cabin. Remember that smoking is not
And I am going to
permitted at
release
any
them from
time.
their
This includes e-cigarettes.
seatbelts. Okay, so we avoided all the cloud. It's all good, and we're just not far now to run 3-4 miles to Detling. Then we'll start this left turn, and after we've done that, there we go, it's actually starting a turn now, and after we've done the turn. We'll go to VNAV, back to VNAV I should say, by switching off speed intervention. The aircraft accelerates its normal climb of roughly 300 knots.
Easy
Okay,
9R5 climb to flight level 230.
Climb to flight level 230 easy 9R 5.
right, whenever you change something on the MCP, check that it's also registered here on the scoreboard. So 230 set and checked. Okay, so we've now nearly finished that turn. I'm going to switch off speed intervention. The aircraft will now accelerate to 299 knots by pitching down. And what we're going to do while we're looking here is change the range of the nav display, because at the moment it's not showing us anything other than our magenta line. So let's just zoom out till we see a couple of waypoints, and there we go, that's all good. So we're just flying now along Isle of Sheppey, the North Kent coast down there. Incredible cloud cover, look at that, absolutely amazing. And what we're going to do, we're going to make good use today of the auto cruise functions, which are here under FS actions, auto cruise, and I'm just going to go to 2x sim rate. There we go, 2x sim rate, just so we can get to the top of climb more quickly. When you go to 2x, the clock goes yellow, and when you go to 4x, the clock goes red. So it's yellow at the moment, we're on 2x, we're going to stay there until we get to the cruise, and that will literally halve the time of the flight. When we get to cruise, we're going to go 4x, and hopefully the aircraft will perform well for that. Okay, so we can enjoy some external views, which might be slightly comical, but we'll see if we can enjoy them. Look at that, isn't that amazing? A bit laggy when we look to the west.
Easy 9R 5 climb to flight level 310.
Climb to flight level 310 easy 9R 5.
We've got back to VNAV. Okay. Because I'm on double time, I might not have been quick enough to reset the MCP and to check on the PFD that it had registered, and in fact I wasn't quick enough because the altitude capture sound came on. So all I did was to go to flight level change, which kept the current airspeed, and then I could finish dialing in 310 and hit VNAV when I'd finished. Okay, so we're all good. Passing flight level 260, 11 to go. We'll just do a quick rundown of everything top. It's all fine, nothing untoward. And it's all looking good. So we'll have one more climb, that'll be from 310 to 370, and we'll be ready any second now when they advise us to do that.
Easy 9R 5 contact Paris Center on 126.47. Have a good afternoon.
Center on 126.47 easy 9R 5. Center easy 9R 5 climbing to flight level 370.
Easy 995, good afternoon. Easy 995, climb to flight level 370, contact Brussels Center on 125.0, enjoy your afternoon.
Climb to flight level 370 center on 125.0, easy 995.
Do excuse that noise, that's just
Center easy 995, climbing to flight level 370.
Easy 995, good afternoon.
that noise was just Rex AccuSeasons Seasons kicking off in the background, auto adjusting the seasonal flora and fauna of the simulator. It makes that noise when it starts up in the background. I guess we configure it. Okay, so we're climbing now nicely through 3, 3, 4, 2 to run, 370. And again, we've got no waypoint showing on the nav display, so we're just going to zoom out until we've got something showing. There we go. Okay, so 2 to run. Okay, so altitude alert just went off, so it's captured 370. It should level off. Once it's done that, we'll go to 4 times on the speed. Okay, lovely. So 4 times on the speed, and while we're flying at 4 times, we're going to look at the plates. So this is the TULSI 3 Alpha arrival here. So arrive overhead TULSI at or above 9,500. It's at or above because the blue line is underneath the altitude. If it was at, there'd be a blue line on top and below the 9,500. But the blue line is below, so it's at or above 9,500. Then we fly 17 miles to Rattenberg, and there it's also at or above 9,500. At or above means that you don't have to be there at 9,500, but you can. If you wanted to arrive there at 11,000, 12,000, that's also acceptable because you are above 9,500. It's just not below 9,500. So there we go. Then we get to the RNAV Zulu, and we've got Rattenberg here. So that's at 9,500. Then we've got a segment here that is nearly 6 miles, and that's level at 9,500. And when we get to this waypoint, it's a 3.5 degree. Now, it's not a glide slope, it's a glide path because it's an RNAV, glide path. Okay, on a QDM of 244. And then you get to this waypoint, Whiskey India 103. You get a further right dog leg to 258, and that's called the final approach course, FAC, final approach course. And you will see both glide path and final approach course just before Rattenberg when we activate the approach, and you'll see those in white here. So you'll see FAC under LNAV, and that won't activate till the very last turn takes you onto final approach track. That's not far from the runway. And here you'll see glide path appear, and that won't arm until we get past Rattenberg, the waypoint after Rattenberg I should say. Okay, so I think we're all good. We've done the briefing. There's one more brief that we should do because there's a variable wind. ATC, pilot to ATC, is set to override the pilot's input. That is to say, I've filed a flight plan with pilot to ATC, and I've asked for RNAV26, this one here. But because the winds are variable, the winds might favour 08. So by allowing pilot to ATC to override my choices, they could turn to us and say, right, you're now on the RNAV 08, or do the RNAV26 and do the visual circuit to land on runway 08. So we should look at that very quickly. And one more thing we should look at are the MSAs. Okay, so the MSA at Rattenberg is 10,300 to the north and northwest, 14,200 to the south and southwest, 11,600 to the west. Okay, so let's look at the visual approach. So the visual approach is, even though this is showing it for the localizer into 26, the same would be applicable to the RNAV. So it would be brake left 230 degrees at 4.2 DME. Then when you get level with the Innsbruck NDB here, you would turn
EZ995 contact Frankfurt Center on 127.6. Have a good afternoon.
You would turn right
Center on 127.6 EZ995
to go downwind, and then when you get to 3.5 distance again from Innsbruck,
Center EZ995 at flight level 370.
EZ995, good afternoon.
then when you get to 3.5 you would do a right hand descending 180 to land on 08. So we might need to look at that more in detail, depends what ATC offer us. So we've got it here pinned in case we need it. So I'm just going to close that down, back to the flight plan. Okay, and let's just have a look at the weather. We'll go to the airport page, click on LOWI, go to weather, and the current METAR is 270, 15, gusting 27. Well, that's a surprise. I didn't realise it would be like that. Okay, variable between 240 and 310. All the 9s visibility, light rain showers, few at 7,000, broken at 8,000, temperatures 14, and dew point is 1, QNH 1023. Okay, wind shear runway 26. Yeah, okay, well that's going to be interesting. Okay, alright, he wants to play it like that, we can play it like that. Okay, so we'll minimise that. I'm just going to zoom out of the map a little bit. And I've got it a little bit too much night time. I want to be able to see a bit more.
Descend and maintain flight level 370.
Just going to go back a few minutes.
Descend and maintain flight level 370 EZ995.
It's just because the aircraft is on 4 times speed and it's just having a little bit of trouble with the turbulence keeping level. So pilot to ATC are very rigid on their altitude discrepancies. So I think it's doing quite well, to be honest with you. This is quite a sharp right turn. It's done it really well. So that's all good. So when we come into the final approach, okay, we will have our VREF set. I will add 5 to the VREF to give me my final approach speed. I might even add 10 because we are in wind shear conditions with gusting variable winds. So yes, I might even add 10. I will also switch off the autopilot once we complete the final approach turn onto the final approach course, FAC, and I will switch off the auto throttle. And what I will do with the auto throttle is I will look where the throttle positions are, what power the engines are generating. I'll look at the engine gauges And when I switch the auto throttle off, I'll move my throttles, my physical throttles, to the same place. So therefore, I will be giving the same power to the engines when I switch the auto throttle off. Okay, so it's going to be an interesting approach. I just wound the clock back a little bit because I don't want to be totally dark. I like it like this, but I don't want to be totally dark when we get into the valley. And we'll see how we go anyway. Okay, so they're unbelted at the moment, and I might leave them unbelted, but not too late. I want the cabin crew to have lots of time to clear up, because things are going to happen very quickly, and the approach starts at 9,000 feet. So actually, we need to crack on with getting the passengers belted. The last thing we need to do really is just to keep an eye on our heading bug, which is still set on the takeoff. That's very remiss of me. I'm just going to bring that now back to match our
EZ-90905. Expect the Chills 3 Alpha arrival with the TULSI transition for the ANAV Zulu approach to runway 26 at Innsbruck.
Expect the TULS-3 Alpha arrival with the TULSI transition for the RNAV Zulu approach to runway 26 EZ-90905.
EZ-90905 contact Munich Center on 120.65. Have a nice day.
Center on 120.65 EZ-90905.
Okay, so I'll reset the sim speed when we get to this waypoint.
Center EZ-90905 at flight level 370.
EZ-90905, good afternoon.
Okay, so I'm going to reset it any second now.
EZ-90905 descend to cross TULSI at flight level 165, then descend via the TULS-3 Alpha arrival with the TULSI transition to cross B002 at or above flight level 0905. QNH is 1023 at Innsbruck.
Descend via the TULS-3 Alpha arrival with the TULSI transition to cross WI002 at or above flight level 0905. QNH is 1023 EZ-90905.
It's good practice to keep your heading bug following your track on the ground. Okay, so I've got 9,500 set on the MCP. That's checked here. We're on VNAV, so when we get to the top of descent, which is just in a couple of minutes, the aircraft will start to descend. And when we get to about flight level 250, I'm going to strap the passengers in. Gives the cabin crew a little bit of time to get sorted out and ready for the approach and landing. Okay, so what do we expect at Innsbruck? Well, we might expect a snowy runway, not icy because it's in the mid-teens, the temperature, but it might still be a bit snowy, a bit slushy. So I think auto brake 2 will be okay. We'll be prepared to switch off the auto brake and go manual. We don't want to overshoot the taxiways. There are only two. One is there's one at each near each threshold. So we'll land and we'll need to taxi to the furthest one. The apron will be on our left. Okay, so I'm just going to align our heading knob like that. I'm going to go to the FMC very quickly. Init ref. We're going to use flap 30, which is giving me a final VREF of 123. Okay, so we're going to select that. Click it once, click it twice. That brings it to this line select here, number 4, but it also puts it here on the PFD as a visual reminder. And we will be manual by then, okay, and I will probably set the speed to 133 or something like that, because the conditions I think warrant a bit of a buffer. that means that the aircraft might float a bit more, because if we're carrying excess speed, we will find out. So the banana here, green banana, is the prediction where we're going to meet the dialed in altitude 9,500. Let's look out the window. Okay, we are approaching darkness again. Let's bring the time back a little bit more. I think we're missing it here, so we'll go 16:30. There we go. Oops. There we go. So we're descending. We are flight level 300. We'll get them strapped in very soon. Quite a tailwind component. That's helped the overall time. Ground speed's been quite high.
EG995 contact Innsbruck radar control on 128.907. Good day.
Radar control on 128.907 EG995.
Okay, so flight level 250.
Radar control EG995 descending to 9,500 feet.
EG995 good afternoon. Continue descent via the TULS-3 Alpha arrival, for the RNAV Zulu approach to runway 26 at Innsbruck.
Continue descent via the TULS-3 Alpha arrival, for the RNAV Zulu approach to runway 26 EG995.
Okay, so we're 260 now, flight level 250, get them strapped in. Okay. And the missed approach on the RNAV, we should look at that very quickly. It is 11,500, and you literally follow these waypoints, then northwest 290 to this waypoint, outbound 278, left turn inbound 063, back across the runway, all the way back to the RTT Rattenberg NDB to hold on an inbound of 225. If we did do that, it would be a teardrop hole entry. Okay, so we're exactly on path, pretty much. Looking good. What's the weather like down there? Not much in the way of snow, is there? I think the Alps this year are suffering a bit from lack of snow cover. So I just feel very, very sorry for the passengers. Paid all this money, and I don't think they're going to do a great deal of skiing. Probably just a lot of drinking mulled wine, I should think. I wish them luck anyway. Okay, so passing flight level 200. The pressurization is set. And it is decreasing. Okay, so when TULSI gets to about 10 DME, I'm going to zoom in a bit more on the map. Okay, the transition altitude is 11,000, so we set that. Descent page forecast 11,000, there we go. So TULSI's below 10 DME, we're just going to zoom in a bit. There we go. Goodness me, there really isn't very much in the way of snow, is there? Okay, so we're overhead TULSI. Oh dear, they're not going to do much skiing, are they? We're January and it's green. It's like a meadow. Right. We're not going to enter into any cloud, I don't think. Looks like we're going to avoid them. If we do, we will put the anti-icing on. So we just need to reset our heading bug. There we go. Like that. And let the aircraft get down to 9,500 and we'll slow it down. Look at that, there's no snow. That is a shocker. Look at that. Okay, so we're just approaching 11,000, so we're going to put our landing lights on. I'm also going to put the turn off and taxi lights on. The reason I'm doing that is I don't have a co-pilot to do it for me. I'd rather do it now when I'm less busy. I'm going to put the ignition onto continuous. The rest of the overhead panel is fine, so we're all happy there. Aircraft is now slowing down. I'm going to put the local QNH on, which just to remind me is 1023. we have. Okay, and we're going to go speed intervention. Dial in. Go right down to 180. And we'll put a bit of speed brake out. Help slow the aircraft down. Okay, zoom in on the map. There we go. Yeah, we are being bounced around a bit. So we get below 250. We can extend our slats. That's coming down.
Easy 9er 5, you are 27 nautical miles northeast of Innsbruck Airport.
Fab 2.
Cleared for the RNAV approach to runway 26 at Innsbruck. Contact tower on 120.1. Good afternoon.
Cleared for the RNAV approach to runway 26 tower on 120.1. Easy 9er 5.
Okay, and we're slowing down when we get below 200 knots. We can go flaps 5.
Tower Easy 9er 5 inbound for RNAV approach runway 26.
Easy 9er 5, good afternoon. Continue a nav to runway 26
Flaps
call
5
when
we
established on final.
I'm going to go
Continue
approach
RNAV
mode.
approach to runway 26 will call when established on final. Easy 9er 5.
Easy 9er 5, QNH is 1023 at Innsbruck.
So
QNH is 1023. Easy 9er 5.
okay, so we've we're on approach mode, and we've got FAC appearing and glide path GP, which is the same as glide slope but for our navs, if you like, and they're in white. It means they're armed. Very soon the the VNAV will disappear, VNAV path, and we'll get glide path in green because the aircraft will start to descend. We're going to slow down now to 160, and I'm going to go flap 10. I want the drag because we're going to go down 3.5 degree glide, or glide path I should say, and I want the drag, the additional drag, to give us that degree of stability. Okay, so we're going to get to this waypoint here, and this will change to green. The aircraft will start to descend. When it does that, we can dial in 11,500 for a missed approach. And we will descend at 160, flaps 10, and when we get towards the bottom, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 feet to go, when the radio altimeter comes into play, there we go. Glide path is active. We've got the magenta diamond, and the aircraft is descending now. So we can dial in 11,500. There we go. We're auto brake 2, so everything is good. Goodness me, look at those colours. There is some snow in the ground. Maybe they will get a bit of skiing in after all. I can see the runway ahead, all the way down there at the end of the valley. It's all the lines of visibility. I'm going to dial in, get the heading bug sorted out. If I just bring up the chart very, very quickly, final approach course is 258. And get that dialed in actually, 258. There we go. So this dotted line here is extended centre line, goes right through 26 and 28, just gives you a visual representation of where the centre line is relative to where your aircraft is. And as you see, when we get to this final waypoint, it turns onto track 258, it'll be along the same track as the extended centre line. So we're all good. And I think now we can begin to slow down a little bit more. We'll go for 150 on the speed. About 3,000 feet above the ground at the moment. Very soon the radio altimeter will come in. So we'll get dirtied up now so the gear can come down. Oops. I hit the trim button by mistake on the yoke. Alright, so now we can go flaps 30, we'll bring our speed to 133. Okay, so we're now configured at our VREF speed, which is 10 above the one from the MCP. We're just approaching that last waypoint, about 2 miles from it. At that point, the FAC here, final approach course, will turn green. It will replace the green LNAV that you see in the scoreboard here. Speed brake is armed, and I will switch off the autopilot after we've turned that last corner, and I will also switch off the auto throttle. And as I said, I'm going to keep an eye on where the engine indications are, and I'll match them with my my own physical throttles. Okay, so we're just approaching that last waypoint, and you'll see the FAC change. We're now in our landing configuration.
(6,500 feet available). Approaching 26.
So FAC's armed. Sorry, captured. Switch off the autopilot. Switch off the auto throttle. We're going to match the throttles where they were. Switch off the alarm. And I'm going to just try and stay on that glide path a bit high at the moment, so just put our nose down a little bit. Keep our speed up though, because of course we've got gusty, variable windy conditions with wind shear, and we are being pushed a little bit to the left of the centre line, so just use a bit of rudder to correct for that. So in that glide path, see
Easy
the
995 winds are 262 at 15 knots, clear to land
and
runway 26.
We've got rain now.
Clear to land runway 26 easy 995.
That was short-lived rain. Okay, so 133 on the speed, we're on the glide, we're on the centre line, so I think we're okay. Quite choppy though, I have to say. Okay, just keep that speed up. Get that nose attitude down a bit. Whoa, there we go, see that's a bit of wind shear, see that? Fly level, we're still stable, we're good. Okay, and short final, we're going to slow down now a little bit to our VREF. There we go. Right, reverse is coming out.
Easy 995 exit runway when able.
Keep that centre line. And reverse idle. There we go. And we'll go manual on the braking. Okay, so here's our turn off. Slow down. It does look a bit slushy, even though we know it's well above 0. The ground temperature might be cold. We'll just taxi off the runway, and then we're going to come to a stop the other side of the hold, because technically we are still on the active runway until we get the other side of the hold, and because I have no co-pilot, I need to retract my flaps, spoilers, get the AP running, all those things. Okay, after landing stuff. So I can come to a stop now because I'm not on the active. Hold it on the brakes. Right, so flaps can come up, slats can get retracted, landing lights can come off, APU can come on, strobe can come off, continuous ignition can come off, and I think we're good. Okay, and we can carry on taxiing. So just give it a bit of welly. Let's get going again. And I think I saw a spot by the 757 that's parked here, Thompson 757 with snow on it. So here we go. So welcome to Innsbruck, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed that flight. Hope you've learnt something from it. I certainly have. Had to fly an airplane in a nutshell. So just keep taxiing along. Just go to the far side of that 757. We'll look up a door in the attic because it's my favourite airplane. Okay, we're not going to blind the ground crew, so there's plenty of apron lighting. Switch off the nose lights and the turn off lights. Don't want to blind the ground crew, as I said. Just going to slow down here, and we've got our man just standing there. There he is. I'll try and taxi to him. Okay, parking brake can come on. Okay, and we can put the APU gens on and power down the engines, let them out of their seats, go to the MCDU, FS actions, ground services, get the chocks on, go back, doors, open door, and extend the air stair. And we could also do the cargo, but do you know what? They can do that. So beacon can come off, and that, as they say, is that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the flight. Oh, the door's closed. Why is the door closed? Let's get the door open. Open door. Thank you. There we go. What are they like? Don't want anybody to get off. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the flight, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care all. Bye.